You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The leading listening show where we discuss important issues with important people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. R. Kelly's New York trial started off September 2021 in the Brooklyn federal court with jury selection, a process that was supposed to see only non-corruptible members selected, to constitute the jury of 12 that would later determine R. Kelly's fate. His lawyers, who by then were led by Steve Greenberg, were tasked to have a good eye and select the most appropriate persons for this role. According to Kelly and his lawyer Jennifer Bonjean, several of the selected jury members had been watching and following the Surviving R. Kelly series, a single-sided account that was reported to dehumanize the R&B King. It is said that they had been regular viewers of the show that followed episode by episode. According to R. Kelly, he raised this concern to his former attorneys, but they ignored it. In his own words, R. Kelly says, "At certain points during the jury selection, I did hear that some jurors had been watching the damn series Surviving R. Kelly, something that concerned me greatly. However, when I raised the concern to my legal team, they shooed me off, making me nothing more than a bystander during this important process. There was no strategy at all involved in choosing the jurors as far as I can remember. At least there was no trial strategy that involved my input." R. Kelly had been left on the sidelines by this legal team, and the wrong people selected to constitute the jury that had the power to send him off to potential life in prison. The Surviving R. Kelly series was a Dream Hampton production that brought together anyone who could have had any sort of grievance with R. Kelly to air out their opinion of him, contributing to what was presumed as his downfall by then. The show, which aired on Lifetime television, and later on Netflix, made headlines for a couple of months, until recently when Netflix started dropping it in various countries for failure to profit. This show faced so much criticism, with so many people who watched it saying it was only a single-sided account of what could have happened, and therefore a biased production. Many suggested that R. Kelly's usual enemy and competition Jay-Z could have been behind it as a way to revenge the hurts R. Kelly had caused him when he sued for $75 million for a failed joint tour. And many others simply rating the show toxic. Despite all these claims, the Surviving R. Kelly show attracted participation of great celebrities such as the famous singer John Legend, and former R. Kelly mentee Sparkle, who with great passion spoke against the R&B King. The show quickly fueled a Mute R. Kelly movement that saw charges placed on him, and subsequently he was arrested. Anyone who watched this show could clearly see that it left an open-ended question as to whether R. Kelly actually had the potential to abuse all those people over a period of 2 decades and get away with it for that long. It left a question as to why it was only until this show that claims of physical abuse were being mentioned, matters one would imagine the police should have been made aware of back when they occurred, if they occurred anyway. For people who enjoyed watching a single-sided production like the Surviving R. Kelly Docuseries to be the ones selected to seat on a panel that was to decide whether R. Kelly goes to prison for life or not, this was the mistake of a lifetime. I am still wondering why the show was even allowed to broadcast, especially knowing that the courts had an interest in the case. Surviving R. Kelly should have been stopped in order to prevent its interference with the trial process. What is even further disturbing about the R. Kelly case is that this same docuseries acted as the trigger for his indictment. It is believed that if it hadn't been for the Surviving R. Kelly production, we never would have seen the Mute R. Kelly campaign, and therefore the indictment would have never happened. According to Jennifer Bonjean, in addition to having jurors who were passionate Surviving R. Kelly followers, R. Kelly was forced to defend against dozens of uncharged claims of abusive misbehavior, and resultantly Robert was stripped of his presumption of innocence, and therefore denied a fair trial. And that is not all, she added. Defendant was denied effective assistance to counsel, when his attorneys then failed to file adequate pretrial objections towards the mass overlay of damning bad act prejudicial evidence that shouldn't have won the case. According to Brenda Jones, Bonjean seemed to be the only lawyer who gives a damn about Kells, and that's clearly messed up. The other ones didn't want anything but money? Stuff like this makes me want to cry. How can people be so heartless to a point of destroying someone else's life just for selfish gain? I have to remember God said not to put no trust in earthly man. Look at what can happen to you if you do. If you can find one good trusting person, then you know that's from God, because unlike humans, God is love and is trustworthy. Humans will naturally judge you by the face value. It's no doubt that having watched the Surviving R Kelly series, there is no way a normal human being would not have had their opinion of Robert tilted a bit towards judging him. Even those who now understand his position first doubted him after this show. This is why a retrial is necessary, so that these factors are eliminated in order for R. Kelly to get a fair judgment. According to Marjorie Brown, I still fail to understand how R. Kelly's legal team then could have looked on, while jurors who had been watching the Surviving R Kelly Docuseries were selected to become the determinants of their client's fate. I think these lawyers have not been to prison themselves and simply don't understand what they wished for their client. Prison is like tasting hell on earth. Whether you are serving 5 years like his accuser Michael Avenatti, or 25 to life, the punishment is hard to bear. No wonder there are so many procedural mistakes that were made during this trial, and the jury seemed to have completely no problem with it. For as long as the case was going their way, they were not bothered at all. A neutral and non-conflicted jury is a very important prerequisite to even start describing anything as a trial. If the jury is in any way conflicted, then that is not a trial. It becomes a prejudicial sitting instead. If you wish to take part in a live interview on this channel discussing any of these topics, let us know by emailing us on sashahnnewsroom@gmail.com for scheduling. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.